Clumping. Suddenly, an unknown Hojojutsu flew to the place where Atsuna was only distracted, and he got caught in his neck, so Sunbei, as expected, was a beast that was trapped. I was upset. He quickly knew that Atsuna had escaped, but instead of chasing it, he stepped on his back with his left thumb, flexing the force of the rope that digs into the flesh. His throat muscles were fat like earthworms, his face was engorged, and he poured vermilion in the blink of an eye. And he squeezed his breath and desperately tried to pull out the rope, and he again. There was a voice of humor, no, brute. When a force like an electric current squeezed from one end of the rope, Sunbei was pulled to the back of a few shaku with his heels sunk into the soil. When he moaned the last breath, Sunbei, who was warped as much as he could, squeezed his whole body and twisted himself as soon as he put one hand on Sukahiro's attachment. Sukahiro's sword light broke into the void, and the rope's break jumped. At the same time, before I knew it, Sunbei himself jumped from the cliff to the valley of miscellaneous trees with the rest of the rope entwined around his body. There is a man who immediately starts to run out of the grass while yelling cha. The refused rope was caught in the hand while squeezing the tongue, and unfortunately, I was looking into the steep slope that was sharpened from the cliff. He scatters the dusty mage, wears a striped garment, and ties his legs tightly. It was Mankichi of the memorandum. Yes, I did something regrettable. I was sure of the breath I threw, but it was a bit late to pull in. I can't say that I'm still good at circle flow. Then, a samurai who got up from a pine tree a little away from it, and a blue on at the base of the pine tree, came to this place while. Mankichi, did you see the pigeon? I called out like this. Looking at it, Kozan Takai's confidant, Ikehikiro Tawara, is lightly dressed for traveling, just like Mankichi. Well, an unexpected guy came to the place where he was watching the pigeon, so I'm glad he threw it with a bouncy, but I finally missed a big man named Toya Sunbei. Ha 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 ha. Ikehikiro laughed abruptly and said, I thought it was like that while I was asleep, but when I heard the breath of the rope you threw, haha, this guy was giving up on letting go. Well, then my husband knew lightly. It seems that she also had a woman's voice. That was Atsuna in return. She was helped by a Karuta and a mansion, so I don't want to hang a rope for that. Actually, at the end of Hashiriai's tea house, I saw a glimpse of him, so I told him to Karuta, and thanked him implicitly. But, fortunately, only that Toya guy met here. I thought I'd tie it up and leave it at the Daikin office, but my husband was also bad, and if he helped me a little at that time, I'm sure it would have worked. When Mankichi was in a good mood, and was mourning the large size of the fish he had missed, Ikehikiro did not try to appease it, but rather. This is Mankichi, he sat down at a wakaku and opened it seriously, and then he scolded him. It seems that Mr. Tsuniki has forgotten the words that Mr. Tsuniki said at the time of departure. Hey, Mankichi wilts a little. Why don't you throw away that awakening guts? It should never be for such a purpose to go to Edo Emote. Professor Tsuniki and Hiragaden remain in Nakia's mansion, and go to Awa. We are waiting for our good news every day with the thought of Chiaki, while hurrying to use. Okay, the catch went down in front of me, so I accidentally got out of my hand. Mankichi apologized without a second. As you say, the gate to get out to the important things in the world, whether it's a murderer and a companion, or a camp with a thief, I will never give up my guts in small things. Forgetfulness is your characteristic, but it's also the acquisition of that you can quickly understand. It's a problem if you don't have that kind of spirit as long as it takes one important thing. Oh, that's it. So what happened to the pigeon messenger? Kozan Takai, who went to Sumiyoshi village to save Mankichi, seized Nakia's minions, and decided to use it as a place for secret discussions, consulted with Janai and Ikehikiro after that. After trying, it was decided that Tawara Concentric and Mankichi would be sent to Edo Emote. In any case, before infiltrating Awa, it is convenient to meet the only daughter of the Koga family Okisama, and also the inside of the Hachisuka family, which is surprising. There is no way to get it because. Therefore, the two who came to Takedo from Osaka Emote had something to know on the way today, and released the carrier pigeon they brought with them from this mountain in Seiki. And I was waiting for the reply. The destination I skipped was a duster in the neighborhood of the Anji River, the wings of a pigeon. It must be the time when I have to go home. From that time on, white lightnings shined through the clouds. As the night rushes, the wind that seems to be the precursor of a storm gently strokes the grass, and Ikehikiro looks at the sky with anxiety and impatience, as if waiting for his child. It was. I can't see it yet. I might have muttered this many times. Isn't it because it's so dark that I don't know the direction? Mankichi was also holding a small hand. In the meantime, the flash of lightning flashed in the shadow of the two. No, if there is still this much twilight. Or did you get sick of thunder? There is no such thing. The pigeon I brought with me is one of the many pigeons that I'm used to, especially when I'm far away. No matter where I am, I'm sure I'll be back where I am. Mankichi pointed in the middle of the story, just jumping up. My husband, I'm here, I'm sure it's that. You see, you're heading towards us at once, as if a white arrow were flying. Oh, it seems that he found a shadow, Kabato, falling down in the sky at his fingertips, and Ikehikiro also dispelled his anxiety from his eyebrows. He came back, the messenger of the hand held. I was happy to hear even the rattling noise, and when I put out my fist, the familiar silver pigeon, Su, came down to my hand. Stopped. Great cause, great cause. If you untie the ganpishi tied to your feet, and release it, the pigeon will hide in the grove again, perhaps looking for a ridge tonight. After seeing it, Ikehikiro carefully opened the thinly folded thin paper, and opened it. It's a little dark. He read. Wait, I'll make a handy sword. Mankichi gathered a few dead cedars, put out a kite bag tool, and clicked. Click. I polished the sparks. Hio and Ikehikiro Tawara look at the secret book of the Ganpishi, as they approached the burning light. It was from Ikehikiro's younger sister, Suzu, who had lived in the Hachisuka family for some time. Inquiries, Mr. Awamori, is rumored to be returning to Japan in early September, and the mansion is also crowded for pulling up. The Otokai seat ship, Manabu, also entered the Anji River today. I've begun to take care of my outfits and other things. I'll give you a quick answer. Good news from Eno, I'll be waiting for you. After reading, look back to the beginning once again. Early September. Then there is still February from now. By then, Mr. Tsuniki will be well prepared, and this one will be able to return from Edo easily. As much as possible, I agree that it is a good idea for Awa Mamoru to take advantage of the congestion in the country, and break the barrier to enter the secret area. Tomorrow, let's inform Professor Tsuniki of this. Like this. SHHH. At that time, Mankichi suddenly suppressed his voice and messed up the unburned fire. Ikehikiro was scared of it without wondering why. Before I knew it, 7 or 8 samurai, who were approaching behind, were staring at me. When Mankichi's kick-dead cedar sparks were blown from grass to grass, it was a true evening without starlight. Even though they are only 4 or 5 shaku apart, the outlines of both figures are not well understood. Not to mention who it is. When I closed my mouth here, one of them was endlessly silent. However, during that time, only sharp nerves are searching for each other with Mikoto. Who is it? It doesn't seem like a mere passerby, and it doesn't behave like a thief Ronin. However, there are no signs of leaving, and the 7 or 8 samurai are staring at me as if they were silent and intimidating. It seems that they have some kind of hostility, even if they are not harmful. Neither Mankichi, who had a good understanding, nor Ikehikiro, who was an eye-catcher, had any further idea. At the very least, if you look at the appearance of the other hand, it looks like a lacquer jar, the occasional lightning bolt, but it seems that all the samurai standing there are uniformly masked. I just showed it. Weird guys, try pulling out even a sword, and I'll eat one with Guan first. Mankichi hid his 10 hands behind his hand and held his breath for a while, but he didn't seem to pull it out, and was still freezing. In the meantime, Mankichi became ridiculous and his nerves became exhausted, and he distracted himself. Husband. Whispering in a whisper, giving a signal to Ikehikiro's sleeve. It's a problem when it rains, so let's go down to the foot of the mountain when the bottom is in the stomach. Mankichi started walking to the destination of the star, saying the excuse that he was burning the fire. Ikehikuro also comes with a good opportunity but not yet. He expected, will you chase afterwards? But the 7 samurai didn't seem to chase after him, so wait again. There is no voice coming to me. Why? I'm boring. After coming downhill, I suddenly lightened my legs and Mankichi's voice became the usual street. I also wondered if they were blaming me for reading the secret book and rumors about Awa, and I was completely chilled. I was scared for a while, but when I think about it, the Hachisuka family's samurai shouldn't be around in such a place. Ikehikuro couldn't help laughing bitterly now. But what on earth are they? It seems that he was masked. That's not the point. In other words, the samurai has a national accent, so it's easy to tell where the servant or the ronin is, but I'm silent. I can't make a judgment. Oh, the road is divided into 2 lines. Let's go to the right. Apparently the light can be seen first. I think I'll be staying in Otsu tonight. If the sky looks good, it's okay to take a night trip and spend the night on a ferry in Yabase, but this distribution is dangerous. Ikehikuro looks up at the terrible sky again, knowing the darkness. Then, Mankichi was sensitive, and seemed to hear someone rushing to this place, and he hid himself in a cedar tree beside him. While being alert and attentive, a fellow man rushed up from the foot of the mountain. As I listened to the whereabouts of the shrine sound, it seems that I hurried to the shrine of Seiki Myojin, contrary to the direction in which they came. It's strange, Mankichi said. He came out from behind the cedar and pinched his earlobe tightly. It's an example of exploration habit, and then the illusion of it has implications. No matter how you think about it, it's not just a matter of fact. Something strange is wrapped in this mountain. It's the kind of chi, devilish or wicked, fairy or murderous. Doesn't your husband think that way? Haha was completely threatened by the samurai. It's not a laugh. This isn't the reason why Mankichi was born with it, but for 10 years, he ate rice with 10 hands.